Hey, I know it's not rocket science to get this caulking off down at the bottom, but if you got regular caulking, I would use this just flat putty knife, and I got a little screwdriver for the inside corners, but I noticed this is actually real silicone down here, and you can get real silicone that's not paintable at the store too, but you need one of these. These don't cost very much at the store, and it's a little razor blade deal, and I'm glad I'm taking the bottom of this off, by the way, because it's coming off in certain areas. I could just get right underneath the silicone caulking on the floor like that. In a few certain areas it was loose, and so if you caulk right over the top of that, you're going to find that maybe it doesn't do just as good of a job as though you were doing it 100% by taking this off. So I just lightly score it, and this flooring is I don't know, it's an architectural wood flooring, tiles, and I was afraid I was gonna maybe scratch it, but with this razor blade down at the floor, but I'm not. Okay, get all that off. Yeah, it takes a few minutes, but you know, I'd rather take off some old caulking, 17 years old, rather than put some new stuff on it just in a few certain places. Okay, and so I'll just clean this off. The key is to have a sharp razor blade. Okay, and that's certain areas. If this was regular, just latex caulking, you might not be able to do it as good with the razor blade as opposed to a putty knife. And I've got a little bit older putty knife in case I need that. I got a sharper one, and then look at this one here. It's all rounded off. This used to be like that, and this one's a nice stiff one. This one costs more. I think that was a hide, but I use that on floors, scraping out grout, cleaning before sealing grout floors, concrete stone tile floors and stuff, and it just over time it just rounded it off all by itself. This one's starting to do the same thing. This one used to be like this. Now I use this one for gouging on stuff and different things. But if I patch caulking or something, or I want something nice and smooth, I've got a nice clean one with sharp edges and nice and flat, rather than either one of these. But you know, believe it or not, I use that like a chisel sometimes, beating on certain things, because it's a nice stiff one. And then I got a crummy little screwdriver, big screwdriver that I carry in my nail bag too, for beating around and stuff. Look at this. I've had this screwdriver for years, probably 10 years. It's a crummy one, and I just use that as for a chisel, and just beat on it and stuff if I need to hit on certain things. And I save that. I keep that in my nail bag. And it's funny how I use that as a pry bar and all kinds of stuff where I don't want to use a nice screwdriver, start beating on my screwdriver because I don't have anything else. Okay, so I'll keep working. I'll get back to you in a minute. Good Lord, look at all the stuff I used. My little razor blade, and when I get done, I flip that around so I don't cut myself. You just push that out, slide it back in. There's a little clicker thing in there. If you push on it and pull that away, then you can slide that out. Okay, my sheetrock knife and my putty knives. And you know, I did an extra number on here. I cleaned this really good, and they had silicone on there before, And when you think you got all the silicone off, feel your hand down there and see and look at it really close sideways, because silicone has a tendency, even when you think you got it all off, you look at it some more and you're like, son of a gun, there's some more there and some more there, and run your finger along it. Make sure it's all nice and smooth, because once you caulk this down here, maybe you've got some rough silicone up above that you didn't clean off. Now it's going to be a real pain to clean off. So I've got that all clean, and you know, I even went along the baseboard a little bit further than I should have, just for this, but I'm getting ready for my other project. And it had clear silicone on here, and it was kind of dated, and it looked a little dirty, and some of it was loose. So I cleaned all that stuff off too. That took me a while. And son of a gun, oh, that looks pretty good. I might do a quick once over. See, I did it along here. This is feeling all smooth now, and man, I thought I had that nice and clean. So I'm going to take this, push that, pull it out on this side so it can slide out, and now I can push it back in. Sometimes this doesn't want to go all the way. That's because maybe this little prong thing isn't pushed out far enough. Okay, and then you push it back in there. And that felt really, really clean, but geez, you know, if there's some right up against the edge, I'm going to cover that with caulking, so that'll be okay. Okay, push it, and then see, when you first push it like that, maybe it doesn't go all the way and it's still hitting. Just lightly press out there. I just push that, pull that. And come on, here it is. There. Just a little gadget like that works good. And okay, so I cleaned all this off, and what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to put white. I'm going to put white right there, because this trim work here is white. This is the almond color. So I'll put a bead of white caulking there, and I'll put it nice and clean, and I'll get most of it off, and I'll just do a white bead from corner to corner. Okay, and then I went inside, I cleaned up around the bottom edge. I even went along this, went up just a little bit and across there, because usually right in there it gets loose, and I did that on this other side as well. Oh man, that's heavy, those glass doors. Right in there, see? I went from there over and then up just a little bit, because there's clear silicone up along this. I'm not going to clean that off. That looks really good. And that's where you want that. When the tub enclosure company, when they initially installed this, they installed it with the clear silicone, 100% silicone. And they did a pretty good job, but see, it's looking a little discolored along there. Later on, if I want, I may scrape this. Nah, I probably won't. I'll probably just leave that alone. But if I wanted to, I could clean that off, and then I could put a bead of white caulking on the outside. It doesn't have to be 100% silicone. It could be the same stuff that I'm using. Where is that caulking? It could be any kind of DAP caulking. This one is 230 Dynaflex, and that's going to be fine, because this side doesn't get heated up like the inside. It's still okay. So I feel fine with what I'm going to use for this. I'm not going to use Dynaflex 230 for the bottom here. I've got some other caulking, Alex 40 I think it's called, and I can show you that too, what it is. And so now I've got everything pretty much done. Now am I ready to caulk? I went ahead and cleaned up really good, and look how deep that one is. When I got that out, I even came over and it came out of this crack right here a little bit, so I cleaned that off. and did that. I even scraped along the edge here, just to there for now. But am I ready? I've swept everything down with my little broom. No, I'm not. This tub isn't really that dirty, but I've got my simple green. I'm just gonna kind of spray that along here and let it sit a little bit.